you want to be able to cycle through GIFs like this on your stream? Or this one? Then keep on watching to find out how. Step 1, download and install Firebot and connect it to your Twitch. Step 2, set up the channel points reward name that you want on Twitch itself. Now there's a bunch of different options here, commands, time. What I recommend is just making this an event. I called it Taco Bell GIF. You can call it whatever you want. And I'll walk through exactly what you have to do. So first you pick a trigger. There's a bunch of them that you can choose from. This one is called Channel Reward Redemption. This is where you can change the name. This filter is important because if you don't specify it here, it will do it for every single channel point that you have. So I do contains versus is because when you do is, I think it might be case sensitive or something, but it wouldn't work for me. Whereas if you do contains, it'll pick up anything similar to that particular name. So that's your best bet. Make sure that enabled stays on, and then you only have to put on 2 effects. Show image GIF and play sound. If you want the sound. If you don't want the sound, then you don't have to use it. It's not a big deal. So for the show image GIF, when you add it in, you can pick just one file locally. You can pick a URL from online. I had an entire folder. I just called it T-Bell GIFs. I put a bunch of GIFs in there that I found off of Tenor, and I even put my sound effect in there just to keep everything organized. For your display, you can choose a preset where you can just click around exactly where you want. You can even make it a random location every time. Or in my case, I just did custom and I put it in the top right. You can adjust these however you want. And you can also choose animations. There are a ton to pick from, so I'm not going to go over every single one. I just kept it simple. You can add in durations for both the enter and exit. In between, you can even do animation, so just mess around with this. The world is your oyster. For the dimensions, you also can pick whatever you like. I did this because of what works for my stream. Duration is the same thing. You can pick however long or however short you want. I only did 2 seconds because I wanted it to coincide with the Taco Bell sound. Last step in this, and probably most important, is actually clicking on that Learn More and adding in the Firebot overlay. Without this overlay, nothing will display. I did not mean for that to rhyme. The instructions are listed right there, so I won't go through it, but just make sure you do that. And once you finish all of that, you just click Save. For the sound, it's also very easy. Again, you can do random sounds every time, a URL, local file. You get the gist. And in my case, again, I just picked a specific file. You can hear it here. Just to confirm that it ends. You can also wait for the sound to finish before letting the next thing play, which is very convenient. You can adjust the volume, and then you also can pick your output depending on what your specific outputs are. And that's really it. You just set that up, you click save, you can test it out. And one thing I do want to point out, as you can see, the GIF shows up on the left-hand side, even though in the tutorial I showed you how to put it on the right-hand side. How did I do this wizardry? Well, I used 2 different scenes, and in this particular scene, my webcam would go on the right-hand side. I'll show you how to do that without having to modify anything that you did in Firebot just now. So all you have to do is just take that Firebot overlay and you just physically drag it over to wherever you need it to go for that particular scene. So in my case, I just moved it to the left. You can test it out, make sure that it fits, move it accordingly, and it's as simple as that. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do any more Firebot tutorials. Like and subscribe, and make sure to live Moss.